House of the Dragon, how Season 1 leads into Season 2, and how both seasons shape the ongoing Season 3. Welcome back to Shed Movies, home of recaps. If you've been watching House of the Dragon, you've probably noticed that every major event in the series is connected. Unlike many fantasy shows that introduce a new conflict every season, House of the Dragon tells one continuous story. Every betrayal, every marriage, every death, and every political decision echoes across the seasons, gradually building toward the devastating civil war known as the Dance of the Dragons. With Season 3 now underway, the consequences of everything that happened in Seasons 1 and 2 are finally coming to fruition. Let's break down exactly how Season 1 connects to Season 2, and how both seasons lay the foundation for the ongoing war in Season 3. Season 1, the beginning of a family torn apart. Season 1 isn't simply the story of who should inherit the Iron Throne. At its heart, it's the tragic collapse of House Targaryen from within. The season begins during the reign of King Viserys I Targaryen, a ruler who values peace above everything else. Although he is a kind-hearted king, his greatest weakness is his refusal to confront difficult problems directly. After the death of Queen Aemma, Viserys makes one of the most controversial decisions in Westerosi history. Instead of naming a male heir, he publicly declares his daughter Princess Rhaenyra Targaryen as his successor. This single decision changes everything. Many noble houses swear loyalty to Rhaenyra, but others quietly believe that no woman should sit upon the Iron Throne. Those disagreements never truly disappear. Instead, they grow stronger with every passing year. Alicent Hightower changes the political landscape. Viserys later marries Alicent Hightower. What initially appears to be a political marriage soon creates two rival branches of House Targaryen. On one side stand Rhaenyra Daemon and their supporters, the faction that eventually becomes known as the Blacks. On the other side stand Alicent, her father Otto Hightower, and her children with Viserys, who become known as the Greens. Although both families continue living under the same roof, distrust begins growing almost immediately. Friendships disappear. Family dinners become political battlegrounds. Children inherit the hatred of their parents. Every uncomfortable conversation pushes Westeros one step closer to civil war. The rivalry between Rhaenyra and Alicent. One of Season 1's strongest themes is watching two former best friends slowly become bitter enemies. At first, Alicent genuinely supports Rhaenyra. But years of manipulation from Otto Hightower convince her that Rhaenyra's future reign would endanger Alicent's own children. Meanwhile, Rhaenyra grows increasingly frustrated by constant accusations surrounding the legitimacy of her sons. The relationship between these two women becomes the emotional heart of the series. Neither begins as a villain. Instead, both become prisoners of politics, family expectations, and fear. Only on Shed Movies. Daemon Targaryen's importance. Season 1 also transforms Daemon from an unpredictable rogue into one of the most dangerous military leaders in Westeros. He marries Rhaenyra, strengthening her claim. He commands one of the greatest dragons alive. Most importantly, he believes problems should be solved with decisive action rather than diplomacy. That philosophy will become increasingly important in later seasons. The children continue the conflict. One seemingly isolated incident changes everything forever. Prince Aemond loses an eye during a fight involving Rhaenyra's sons. Although the wound heals physically, the emotional damage never does. Aemond develops an obsession with proving himself stronger than everyone around him. He trains relentlessly. He becomes fearless. Eventually, he claims the massive dragon Vhagar. That moment turns him into one of the most dangerous individuals in the entire realm. King Viserys dies. The emotional climax of Season 1 comes with Viserys' death. Instead of peacefully honoring his wishes, the kingdom immediately fractures. The Greens secretly crown Prince Aegon as king. Meanwhile, Dragonstone prepares to crown Rhaenyra. One kingdom. Two monarchs. One inevitable war. Luke's death starts the Dance of the Dragons. Everything changes during the season finale. Rhaenyra sends her son Lucerys to Storm's End as a messenger. There he encounters Aemond. What begins as intimidation quickly spirals out of control. Vhagar kills Luke and his dragon Eryx. Whether Aemond intended murder or not no longer matters. Blood has been spilled. Negotiation is over. The Dance of the Dragons has officially begun. That single tragedy becomes the foundation for everything that follows. How Season 1 directly leads into Season 2. Season 2 begins with both sides preparing for total war. Nobody trusts diplomacy anymore. Every council meeting becomes a military strategy session. Every dragon becomes a weapon. Every noble house must choose a side. Season 2 doesn't introduce a new conflict. Instead, it explores the devastating consequences of every decision made during Season 1. Revenge becomes the driving force. Luke's death leaves Rhaenyra emotionally shattered. Daemon immediately seeks revenge. This leads to one of the darkest moments in the series. The assassination known as Blood and Cheese shocks both Westeros and viewers alike. Instead of bringing justice, revenge only creates even greater hatred between the blacks and greens. Every act of violence now demands another act of violence in return. Dragons become weapons instead of symbols. In Season 1, dragons represented power. By Season 2, they become instruments of mass destruction. Battles are no longer decided solely by armies. Entire castles can be destroyed by dragonfire. Thousands die within minutes. The war reaches an entirely different level. Rook's Rest changes everything. Perhaps the biggest turning point of Season 2 is the Battle of Rook's Rest. Here, viewers finally witness multiple dragons fighting one another. The battle permanently changes the balance of power. King Aegon II suffers devastating injuries. Sunfire is badly wounded. Princess Rhaenys sacrifices herself alongside Meleys. Although both sides claim victory, neither truly wins. The cost of dragon warfare becomes painfully clear. Daemon's journey at Harrenhal. While battles rage elsewhere, Daemon experiences a deeply personal storyline at Harrenhal. Instead of fighting enemies directly, he confronts guilt, ambition, and haunting visions from his past. These experiences slowly reshape his understanding of leadership. Rather than acting solely through violence, Daemon begins questioning what kind of ruler Rhaenyra truly needs beside her. Shed Movies Recap. The Dragon Seeds. Another major development is Rhaenyra's decision to recruit ordinary people capable of bonding with dragons. This dramatically increases her military strength. However, it also introduces dangerous new personalities whose loyalty cannot be guaranteed. What appears to be a brilliant strategy may eventually become one of her greatest mistakes. How Season 2 sets up Season 3. Season 2 ends with both factions exhausted. Neither side has achieved complete victory. Instead, the conflict has expanded across Westeros. Major houses have declared their allegiance. New dragon riders have emerged. The war has become impossible to stop. Rather than concluding major storylines, Season 2 serves as preparation for an even larger conflict. How everything connects to Season 3. The ongoing third season is where the consequences of every previous decision truly begin to unfold. The civil war is no longer confined to political maneuvering inside King's Landing. It has spread across the Seven Kingdoms, drawing in more armies, dragons, and rival claimants. Recent episodes have continued expanding the conflict while introducing new strategic twists, including developments surrounding Daeron Targaryen and the growing importance of Tumbleton. Everything viewers are seeing now can be traced directly back to Season 1. Viserys naming Rhaenyra as heir. Alicent believing her son should rule. Otto Hightower's political manipulation. Daemon's marriage to Rhaenyra. Aemond claiming Vhagar. Luke's death. Blood and Cheese. Rook's Rest. The Dragon Seeds. None of these events exist in isolation. Each one creates another domino that falls in Season 3. The central themes remain the same. Although the scale has grown larger, the story is still driven by the same questions introduced in Season 1. Can a family survive when ambition outweighs love? Can revenge ever bring peace? Is anyone truly worthy of absolute power? And perhaps most importantly, can dragons save House Targaryen, or will they become the very reason for its destruction? These questions continue to shape every episode of the current season, as the dance of the dragons escalates toward even more devastating battles. Final thoughts. Looking back, it's remarkable how carefully House of the Dragon was constructed. Season 1 plants the seeds of division. Season 2 allows those divisions to erupt into open warfare. Season 3 is where those choices begin producing irreversible consequences across Westeros, with the conflict expanding beyond isolated rivalries into a full-scale civil war. Every conversation, every alliance, every betrayal, and every dragon that took flight in the earlier seasons now matters more than ever. The Dance of the Dragons isn't simply a war over a throne. It's the tragic story of a family destroying itself from within, one decision at a time. If you enjoyed this breakdown, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Shed Movies, home of recaps, where we break down the biggest moments, hidden details, and theories from your favorite movies and TV series.